Hello students, today we are doing 3 questions from refractive index and refraction of course. So these question connects actually trigonometry and refraction theories. So you should be familiar with tan theta, sin theta and all those things, and the length as well. So if you are familiar with all those things, then only you can do that type of questions. So I'm suggesting you to go through one question after the other. So it's like this: you do one question and you go through the explanation and you learn something and you go to the next question likewise. So try those questions, because there's a high chance we might get a question like this in our paper. So it's always better to be prepared with that type of questions. Certain level of maths knowledge is required. So let's try the questions. All right, let's get into this question now. Right, a rod of height h is placed vertically, right, is placed vertically in a beaker of bottom radius h. So this radius they have given as h, right, the height 3h, so that it touches the bottom side wall. The upper end of the rod can be observed when observed along p, right. So this is visible when looked from here, right. If the beaker is filled with a liquid to a height 2h, so let's put some liquid up to this height, right. So up to 2h we have the liquid, right, and then the observer can see the lower end of the rod, the refractive index of the liquid, right. So here that means if this person can see the bottom, so what happens is it goes like this, right, then it should go along this, it should go along this line, right, it should go like this, and then it should go along this line, and then it should go to the eye, right. So we need to find the connection between the angles, and then we can find the refractive index. So what's the basic equation for refractive index? Let's write the equation first. N2 over N1 equals sin I over sin R, right. So N2 basically it's always the second medium, that means the medium of the eye. Let's take it as 1. So 1 over n equals sin I over sin R. So this angle, right. What's the angle? This is the angle, right. This is the angle we need. This is the angle, of course. Angle along with the normal. That's the angle we need. So this is basically angle I, and this is the angle R, right. So if we can find the angle I and R, yes, we have the answer. So what's I? Sin I. So sin I hope you can see, this is the value opposite length, that's h, and we need to find the value of this length, right. Of course this side is 2h, this is h, so we can easily find the value, the hypotenuse value. Let's write it, let's draw it like this. So here we have h and here we have 2h. Let's apply Pythagoras theorem, then we can find the length, this length, right. So h squared plus 2h squared, it's 4h squared, so we are getting 5h squared, so root 5h, right. You should have the ability to do this kind of calculations, of course, right. So root 5h, then sin I equals, this is I, so sin I equals h over root 5h. So let's write it down. Sin I equals h over root 5h divided by sin R. This is basically this length, again h, and this height is h, so it's h squared plus h squared root 2h. So h over root 2h. So with the simplification, h cancel off, so get 1 over root 5, root 2 goes up, right. Yes, root 2 goes up, right. Now we get its root 2 over root 5, right. Then 1 over n equals root 2 over root 5. So our answer, they are asking us the refractive index of the liquid. So n equals root 5 over root 2. That's the second answer, right. this is from wavelength. Actually, wavelength type of questions we get in our optics questions, because it needs to remind you certain facts. So I'm not telling you the facts, just try to remind it when you are doing the question. Just go through the question. It's only that point actually you should remember when doing questions like that. Right, moving into the second question. Right, this question seems a bit of an easier question, but still compared with actually other questions, here they are asking, they are giving the data actually relating the wavelength. Right, so let's read the question first. When a ray of light passes from medium A to medium B, right, so it is found that its wavelength increases by 20%. Right, the ratio of the sine theta and sine is okay. Right, so here this is the only data we are given. So wavelength increases by 20%. Right, here the thing you should remember is that yes, there's no change of frequency here in refraction. We assume there's no change in friction in frequency. Right, so with that assumption, so we know the equation V equals F lambda. So if lambda is increased by 20%, so it's 1.2 lambda, then the increment, so velocity will be increased by 1.2 V. Now the velocity will be 1.2 V here in the second medium. In the first medium, if it's assumed V, then in the second medium it's 1.2 V. Right, this is the point actually we are getting. Right, so we have to connect these angles and the refractive index or the velocity. So the only equation we have, N2 over N1 equals sine I over sine R. But here again we have to connect the velocity. It's the other way around, right? C1 over C2. Velocity of the first medium divided by velocity of the second medium. Right, let's put the values now. Sine I is sine theta A. Right, sine theta A divided by sine theta B equals C1 over C2. So velocity of the first medium is V and velocity of the second medium is 1.2 V. Right, so we are getting sine theta. Actually they are asking us to find theta B over theta. It's the other way around. So sine theta B over sine theta A equals 1.2. So we have the answer. It's 6.6 over 5. Right, so easy answer, but you should know a couple of facts actually when doing a question like this. The frequency that won't change, that is our assumption here. Right, right, this question actually it's a past paper question. The path of a light ray falling on a block of glass, refractive index N and thickness D is shown in the figure. Find the value of Y. Right, so this is actually they are asking from us. Right, this looks like a bit of a complicated question, but let's try to simplify it somehow. Let's try to do it somehow. So what I assume is, we can do it like that. I'll divide it from here, and if we can find this length, that's double the value Y is Y. Right, so it's N. They have given the refractive index of the medium is in. So if I can find this angle, let's say it's theta 1, hopefully I know this value, so I can find this length. Right, so let's write the equation. N2 over N1 equals sine I over sine R. So here the second medium is N, first medium let's take it as 1, and sine theta, of course we have sine theta in our answers, and sine R. So sine R is sine theta 1. So I get sine theta 1 equals sine theta divided by N. So of course if we need to find this value, let's say simply this value, I need to find the tan theta value. So let's draw the triangle now. I have theta 1, I have this value here, and the length here it's D here. If I can find this length, yes, I have the value. Let's say this is A. this length finding, yeah, that's actually given. That's here, it's d, and of course, yeah, we don't know that value. Sine theta, tan theta, we have sine squared theta here, see. So in the answers and all that, so let's write the equation. Cos theta, there's an equation like this: sine squared theta plus cos squared theta equals 1. So cos squared theta equals 1 minus sine squared theta. So this might come in handy, right? So cos theta equals root 1 minus sine squared theta. Let's use this one as well, right? So how do you find tan theta? Tan theta, right, let's move here. Tan theta equals sine theta 1 divided by cos theta. So sine theta, I have found it earlier, it's sine theta 1, of course, sine theta over n, and cos theta I have found it's 1 over now root 1 minus sine squared theta, right? I have all these values now. Then that should be equals tan theta. Of course, tan theta 1 equals d divided by, yes, a. D divided by a, right? Now I have the value of a, right? Now we are getting closer to the answer, right? So the value of a equals d into n root 1 minus sine squared theta divided by sine theta. So y actually double the value of a, so its answer should be 2dn root 1 minus sine squared theta over sine theta. So let's see whether we have the answer. Yes, we have 2d here, and n is just outside actually here, you can see, so we have to take that in. So 2d, well, let's take n inside, so n squared minus n squared sine squared theta divided by sine theta. So we have our answer, so it's the third answer, right? I hope you have tried all the 3 questions. These questions are not that difficult if you are familiar with sine, cos, tan and all these things. So if you cannot do this question, that means you are not familiar with connecting rods, the length of triangle and sine, cos, theta values together. So practice these type of questions, because there's a high chance we get a question like this. So it's always better to be practiced with these type of questions.